What's going on with Williamson County Real Estate? Hey, I'm here with the Williamson County Real Estate Report. I'm John with the Turner Victory team of Onward Real Estate, and we bring you this report each and every week and just like to talk about local real estate and what's going on. So let's go ahead and jump into this week. The Turner Victory team's market health score for Williamson County is a 56, which represents a balanced market. Now, we bring in all sorts of information as far as local information about month supply and inventory trends, all sorts of things like that. We bring in national information looking at mortgage rates. We bring in regional information as far as jobs and different things of that nature to come up with that score. But that is our market score this week. Right now in Williamson County, we have 1,293 homes that are currently on the market. Anything below 1.5 million, we have less than 3 months supply over here. So if you look at that green, and these are broken down by the price points, we start getting above a 1.5. We get to the yellow or the orange, whichever you want to call it, depending on how you see colors, I guess. And then over 3 million, we're definitely in the red, trending near 10-month supply. This week we had 123 new homes come on the market. 125 went under contract, so we had 2 more go under contract than what came on the market. Had 67 close, but also not only did we pull 125 off the market because they went under contract, there's another 66 that were pulled off. Generally, it's because they didn't sell. That doesn't always mean that's the case, but that's generally what we see on that, which means they were not priced correctly, they were not presented correctly, they were not promoted correctly. One of the 3 P's of selling, or it could have been 2 or 3 of the 3 P's, but there's three-legged stool. If they're all not working together, something's off balance, and it makes it really hard to get your home sold. When we look at our weekly charts, you can see on our active inventory, and we're looking at the orange for this year. Inventory starting to jump up. We have 1,293 homes on the market right now. Compared to just a few weeks ago, we had a little below 1,100. This is kind of following the same trend we saw last year. If you notice, in 24 and 23, we did not see such a jump in inventory. So very interesting trends there. Our month supply right now, we're sitting at 3.61 month supply. That's compared to 2.89 month supply this time last year. Now, all these squiggly lines, sometimes I'll pull them off, but this is pretty easy to see when we're looking at our new listings. Look, ever since about the 4th week of this year, we have trailed behind the past 2 years on new listings. So we are not bringing in as many homes on the market in Williamson County as what we have the past 2 years. But if you notice as well, if you take away those couple of weeks from the ice storm, and again, a bunch of squiggly lines, I remove them. But I think what you can see here is you can see this orange starting to punch through above the other lines. This is pending sales. So for 2026, we are starting to see these pending home sales take off and go above the past 3 years. And even if I take off 2023 here, let's look at this. Let's compare. So compared to 2025, we've even a little bit higher, a little bit lower. So it will be interesting to see if this jumps up like we did last year or not. And then whenever you put this mark on it here for 2024, again, kind of right there, a little above, a little below, but above than below. So the numbers are looking better than 2024. Monthly closings, we're still in the middle of March, but we have 213 closings so far for the month of March. If you look at March last year, 423. So we still have a little ways to go to see if we can catch up to March of last year. So it'll be interesting to see what the last 9 or 10 days of the month bring for us. Let me scroll down here. Sales versus original price. The blue is what you see in the MLS. The orange is what we call the true original, and this looks at all the listings when they were initially listed. So some of them come on the market, they go under contract, and they leave the market. Some of them come on the market and they don't sell, so they get pulled off and put back on the market. It's a strategy some people use to reset the days on the market. We like to look at it overall and see what the original price was and the original days on the market. So you would expect the orange, which is what we call the true days on the market, is lower than the MLS days on the market. So like in the 3.5 to 4 million price range, we've got the true day, or true original list price. I'm sorry, this is the original list price page. That in the 3.5 to 4, homes sold at 94% of the original list price, whereas the MLS has them at almost 96%. This just gives us a little bit, in how much sellers are coming off their price. Now, one interesting thing here you see in the Ford, which is a small part of the market, it is a little bit higher there, but that is the lower part and smaller part of the Williamson County market. Also, like the percent of homes that have been relisted. If you look here in the 700s to 799, almost 37% of the homes that are on the market have been relisted. We see as well in the 8 to 900, or let me see, that's 8 to a million. So 36.5% of those homes have been relisted. Most active zip code, as I'm sure you're aware, is the 37064 zip code. Also, if we look at true days on the market, this is pretty telling. You would expect in some of the lower price ranges, below, especially below 700 or 800,000, there's not a huge difference. 29 days on the market in MLS versus 37, what we consider the true days on the market where you take into account relists. But once you start getting, 1 to 2 million, these numbers jump way up. For instance, in the 3 to 3.5 million price point, MLS says it's 55 days on the market, but whenever you really evaluate it and dig down in it, it's almost double that. It's at 94 days on the market. So it's good information to know. If you're a seller, this information helps you to really set the expectations of what you may be spending, or what time you might be spending on the market, especially if you are not pricing it or presenting it or promoting it correctly. Showings per price, anything below 800,000, you expect about 3 to 4 showings a week right now. Once you get 1.5 million, 2 less average per week. So that's good information to pay attention to. Also, when we start talking about mortgage rates ended the 30-year average at 6.22%. It was lower than that, but because of inflation pressure, just with oil prices, gas prices, things like that, mortgage rates have risen. Also, you probably know, but the Federal Reserve came out and they did hold the interest rates, not the mortgage rates, the interest rates steady, which we kind of expected that. There was talk that they may actually raise them if inflation becomes and a lot of that's going to depend upon what's going on in the Middle East and how long that takes. On the bright side for sellers, the mortgage purchase index was to 172.9, and that's just an index of how many people are making application right now for a mortgage. This is what we call a leading indicator. It means that we will probably see some increased activity from over the next few weeks, because usually it's somewhere between 2 and 6 weeks where we see that actually reflected in buyer activity. I will tell you some other notes of interest. Pending contracts jumped to 125 this week. That's up nearly 20% from the 4-week average. And if you remember on that sheet, we did see the spike there with the pendings. It's also almost 24% higher than last year. So pendings are up about 25 or 24% higher than last year. The 6-week trend shows us that buyer activity is accelerating. The sales price to the list prices dropped to 96.2%. This time last year it was 97.3%. So sellers are getting about 1% less on their original list price than what they were getting this time last year. Average days to contract. Last year it was at days. We are looking at 90 days right now. But with that said, over 29% of the homes that come on the market sell in the first week. So that does go back to the 3 Ps, the 3-legged stool. If it's priced correctly, promoted correctly, and presented correctly, there is a 30% chance that you're going to go under contract that first week. On the other hand, there's a 28% chance that you're going to be on the market for over 90 days, because 28% of the homes on the market have been on the market for over 90 days. And that really speaks again to how motivated are you as a seller, and how in tune are you with the market. Because they're definitely being on the market longer. Not only is there a time penalty, but we also, every stat that we've pulled, if you're priced more than 2% higher than what you should be, okay, more than 2% higher, you end up netting less money in the long run. And that does not take into account carrying cost or anything like that. We're just talking about strictly sales price. So you really want to price it correctly from the start. So that is the information we have this week for you on the Williamson County Real Estate Report. We bring this to you every week. I am John Turner. I am the team lead of the Turner Victory team at Onward Real Estate. If you are enjoying this, please comment below. Please subscribe to our channel. And if there's any other information you would like, let us know. We're more than happy to bring this to you. We've got all sorts of stats that we just, quite frankly, we would probably bore you to death if we gave you all the stats we have. So, but if there are any specific numbers you would, please comment below. We'll be more than happy to provide those for you. And we appreciate you tuning in. And until next week, we hope you make it a great week. Thank you.